Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk to you about the month of September. This month I didn't read a single thing for pleasure for myself, but it was officially my first month as an editorial assistant, so there were a lot of changes in my life and I wanted to talk to you all about that. So let's first start with the most important thing that was my change at my job. I read a total of 5 books this month for my job. One I was halfway through and I finished on the 1st of October, so I'm counting it as an October read. And I had 2 DNFs, one at 30% and one at 20%. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about what I'm doing so far. I even recorded a video talking about my publishing industry journey so far, how I started and where I'm currently at. And I recorded that video soon after I learned the news that I got the job, but I ended up scrapping it because I didn't really like how I talked about it. There is a law behind publishing that I didn't know about, so that was my point with the video, trying to educate people about all the different kinds of roles that you can have in publishing that are not necessarily an editor. But I felt a little bit disingenuous because now I'm an editor, editorial assistant, in fact, not a real editor, not yet. I still highly recommend researching other roles, especially if you like books, but you don't necessarily enjoy the editing part. I have yet to come across this part. Like I said, I'm only a month in the job, so I'm still learning a lot and I haven't edited anything, of course. But I'm slowly learning a little bit more about how acquisitions work and about what entails being an editorial assistant. I would highly recommend that you guys research other types of roles if you like books, if you would like to enter the publishing industry. If you broadly read a lot, I think this industry is incredible. I think there are many types of jobs that you can have and that come in contact with books. I'm really happy with where I am right now. And if you guys have any questions about publishing and how I got here or my previous role as a rights assistant, feel free to drop them in the comments. And if anyone is interested, I can probably try and make a better video about my publishing industry journey. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm reading a lot, like I said. I totaled my pages for this month, 2,073 pages read this month. So around 70 pages a day, which is crazy, but not that high. I thought it would be higher. We'll see. I was struggling it was my first month, okay? So let's give me a break. I'm still learning a lot. I'm still deciding what are books that I should probably complete, what are books that I can DNF and stuff like that. These reads are not necessarily for books that we are going to be publishing. I'm the first filter. I'm reading through every submission that comes through our door, and I'm looking at the synopsis, the pitch. Sometimes they have longer synopsis, sometimes they have samples, sometimes they have full manuscripts. Most of the times we are looking for something specific to fill a gap in our catalog. We receive maybe 20 submissions every single day. I'm reading a lot outside of my tastes. I'm being really surprised with some reads. That's something that I definitely wouldn't have picked up. I ended up really enjoying. I am also more confident in my tastes and my points of view through certain reads. So that's interesting and that's exciting about the job. But yeah, most of my month was spent reading, but nothing that I can share with you about. In that vein, I wanted to share with you a little bit of what I did at Bienal. So if you guys don't know, Bienal, it is probably the most famous book fair that we have in Brazil, differently than some book fairs that I know exist in London and in Germany. This book fair is targeting consumers. So we sell our book in our gigantic stand directly to consumers, but there are also some events that are private for publishing employees and also for agents and writers. Surprisingly, I only bought 2 books because I was saving money and I didn't want to spend, and I also get a lot of books from work, and my shelves are non-existent. As you guys can see, I don't have shelving so far in my new room, so they're piling up on top of my desk, and I don't have any space left over until I get a shelving unit here. So I prioritized buying books that I really wanted and that were very expensive and perhaps would have a bigger discount. And I also prioritized buying some of my favorite reads because I mostly read through audiobooks and ebooks. So I wanted to have some physical copies of those that are my favorites so I can annotate them and pass on my annotations from my ebook to the physical book. So I ended up only buying 2. The third one that I really wanted, it was already sold out by the time that I got to the stand. The fair goes through 2 weekends and the entire week in between. I went on the first day with my parents and my sister. We just looked around and I bought one of the books. It was super empty because it was the end of the day. The fair goes through 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. During the weekdays, during the morning and afternoon, it is quite crowded, but in the evening is quite empty. The bus to go there is crowded, but inside, since the space is so huge, you don't feel that many people, and all of the stands are really empty and you can browse through them really easily. During the weekends was insane. I didn't go on the first weekend because there was a lot of events happening and I knew it was going to be crowded. But the second weekend I had to go because I was working, and I'm gonna insert some pictures here. We had an event for influencers with some of our authors and talking about the books that we released this year and the books that we are going to be releasing next year. And then on this Saturday, I decided that I was going to try and buy the other books that I wanted, but because it was already the last weekend of the fair, one of the books that I wanted was sold out. It was the Book of Avalon. The series is gigantic. The first book is over 100 reais here, and it was for 80. That's again why it sold out. But yeah, I'll try and get it on a Black Friday or some sort of other deal because that's too expensive for a book. So the first book that I bought this is the book that I bought on Tuesday. So Cassandra Clare's Swordcatcher. I know Cassandra Clare is not a great person. I know she's not a great writer, but she has me on a chokehold. She's had me in a chokehold since I was a child, and I wanted to say that I hated this book, but I loved it. This is her first endeavor outside of the Shadowhunters realm. This is an adult novel. Again, the Shadowhunters realm is entirely YA, so this is definitely a step up. There's something in this woman's writing that I gobble it up. She manages to create such vivid worlds and vivid characters from the first page. It's not that info dumpy, it's very easy to consume, but at the same time so immersive that you can't see the end of this world. Like, I don't know how to explain it. This is probably because I read Babel at the same time, but this was one of my favorite books that I read last year, and because I bought it at the fair, I managed to get the pre-order gifts that came with it. I saw it in store soon after this was released. I saw it in store, but again, I didn't have money. I didn't want to spend that much money. It was 70 reais and I bought it for 30. So that was a bargain. And it came with the little cards. So it came with a bookmark, a little quote card, and another quote card. But the most important thing, it came with the art for our main characters. Look at how beautiful that is. That's stunning. I love this art. And this edition is really beautiful. They kept the original cover and I really like it. And then the second book that I bought during the Saturday was Heartless Hunter by Christian Sicarelli. Like I said, I think I mentioned it in my last vlog, how obsessed I was with this book. Like, I read it in 2 sittings. I cried rereading my notes. Like, I am so shocked how much I loved this. And fortunately, this was not even a little bit discounted. So that hurt a little bit. Yeah, I think I paid 60 reais for this. which is upsetting. Again, I like that they kept the original cover. And with this one, it's not that I didn't want the original edition, but it's just that I wanted to reread this as soon as possible and put my annotations in as soon as possible. So I didn't want to wait to get the original edition, because getting original editions here in Brazil is very expensive and I already paid a lot of money for this. So, but yeah, those are the only 2 books that I bought at Bienal, but it was amazing. I love seeing the stands. I love visiting everything, looking at the books. It's awesome, and I had a really, really great time. The only other thing that I wanted to share with you, I went to my first NFL game. We had the first NFL game in Brazil at the beginning of the month. It was the first week of football. It was Green Bay Packers and Eagles. And I went with my sister and a friend, and it was incredible. I felt like I was inside a movie. Like, everything was so incredible. I was really emotional watching it, because I have really strong feelings towards football. I don't know how this sport got to me so quickly. It all started with me wanting to watch Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime show and watch the entire game. And I wanted to learn the rules of football to understand better. And then I was like, okay, if I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, I should better know the teams that are going to the Super Bowl. So I decided to watch the entire season. And that's how it all started. I ended up never watching this Super Bowl live because I was at the hospital after a surgery. Ever since then, I've been following football. I even bought a jersey, which I was wearing. It was incredible. The Eagles won. I didn't have really much stakes in this game when it comes to people winning. I don't like Aaron Rodgers, so I was a bit tempted not to like Green Bay Packers, but now that Aaron Rodgers is no longer with the Green Bay Packers, I didn't have much reason to not root for them. Considering both of these teams are not my teams and I don't have any stakes in them anymore, I liked Jason Kelce, but since he's no longer with the Eagles, I don't have any stakes in the team. I like Jalen Hurts, but he played like shit during our game, and they all played really bad at the beginning. It was really awkward. They had a lot of flags. It felt like nobody knew how to play football because it was the first game of the season. So yeah, that was a bit awkward, but they got into the groove of things. Overall, it was an incredible game. The halftime show was great by Anita, and yeah, everything was perfect. I hope that they enjoyed their experience here and that they bring it back next year. So hopefully by next year, the Bills were going to come here and I'm going to watch Josh Allen and my team play. That would be incredible. I think I'd cry probably. It was fun. Even though I had another team's jersey, a lot of people had other team's jersey as well. And it was an entire experience. Yeah, I loved it. And I'm really glad that I went. But yeah, those are the only things that happened in the month of September. A lot, but at the same time, not much in terms of reading. Right now, I'm currently reading Outlive by Peter Attia, and I'm really enjoying it, but I'm so far only 20% in, so we'll see what I get to finish. This is my tactic for the month of October. Since I read a lot of things that I already read, like the same genres, the same tropes, stuff like that for work, than I read in my personal life, I'm going to try and separate and read a little bit more nonfiction in my personal life, so maybe I don't feel as tired. We'll see. I'm only 20% and I read it during the weekend, so this was the month of September. October is my birthday month, so we'll see what I get up to and if I get any books as gifts, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!